When I was 8 years old, I had a tragic crisis happen in my life. My dad was in a fatal car accident 200 meters away from my car. Today we're not quite sure what happened, but from the evidence the investigators found, they believe that he fell asleep behind the wheel and went into the ditch. A tree went through his windshield and hit him in the head. The impact was very severe. I'll never forget the night the police came to my house to talk to my mom with gloomy expressions on their faces as they looked at me and then my younger siblings. I will never forget the screams and tears that came out of my mom as the police pulled her into another room. I will never forget the night my dad died. After this crisis happened, I spent the rest of my childhood trying to find that happiness that I once had. I felt that it was my fault my dad died. When I was 18 months old, I swallowed by acid. My dad then stuck a hose down my throat, trying to wash out the acid. By doing this deed, he saved my life. After my dad's accident, I felt that I had let him down by not saving his life the way he saved mine. I felt helpless, useless, and depressed. I went to many counselors, but it seemed that it didn't help. There are times in my life when I didn't have the motivation to get out of bed. Finally, after suffering 6 long years of depression, one night my family and I were sitting at the table and I told them how I felt. How depressed I was. How I felt responsible for my dad's death. And about my grief. By sharing this with them, they began to share their feelings with me. Together as a family, we got stronger and stronger. I then realized that even though my dad was not with us anymore, we were still a family, and how important my family is. Before my dad's death, my family and I were a very happy, normal family. After his death, we fell apart. Being only 8, I was the oldest of 4 children. Carter, who was 6, Shauna, who was 5, and Shane, who was 18 months. We started to grow apart, and we all took it very hard, especially Carter. My dad was Carter's hero. He would spend hours and hours out in the barn with my dad or in the tractors. After his death, Carter went into a dark stage in his life. He was never happy and always got into trouble at school. Carter slowly made his way out of this stage and turned his life around as he got older. But the one person in my family who took this crisis the hardest was my mom. At night, I would lay in my bed, trying to think about what I could have done to prevent the pain that my family was experiencing. But all I could hear was my mom crying herself to sleep. Can you imagine being 8 years old and hearing your mom cry? How scared you would feel? How lonely you would be? And knowing that you couldn't do anything about it? That was only at night. During the day, she would show no sign of the pain she was suffering from, and was always very strong for us. Being a single parent is not easy, and as my siblings and I got older, she never showed any weakness and did whatever she could to do to make our lives the best. She's the one person I look up to the most. She taught me to be a respectful and responsible person, and I know that if I am half the person she is, I will go very far in life. As years went by, we had family rituals. Every April 1st, which is the anniversary of my dad's death, Father's Day and July 12th, my dad's birthday, we would go to the cemetery and send notes to him in balloons. We would also make sure that we watched the slideshow of my dad's life at least once a day. Every day was a struggle to get through, but as a family, we did it. As a family, we grew a new, stronger bond that will never be broken. Today, at times, we still suffer from the pain of losing our dad, but we know, as a family, we will get through it. In today's society, people take everything for granted. Every girl, when they are young, dream about their wedding, what dress they're going to wear, who their husband's going to be, the list goes on and on. They take for granted that their family's always going to be there for them, that their dad's always going to be there to walk them down the aisle and to dance with them on the father-daughter dance. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize that I will not share this special moment with my dad. I definitely do not take things like this for granted anymore, and I want to tell the world that maybe that special someone will not always be there, and that you should not take this for granted. I do not want people to experience the pain that I went through. So today when you go home, I want you to go up to your dad and say 3 precious words to him. I love you. I never got the chance to tell my mom or tell my dad how much he meant to me and how much I love him. And I would do anything to get that chance back. And I don't want you to regret missing this chance.